Okay. The immortal Hulk Hogan is gone. Man, unbelievable. 71. It's not even that old. And for Hogan to go at 71, man, that was saying something. Ah, man. No. I just saw Hogan a year ago. And I always thought Rick would be the one to go before Hulk. Because Hulk was the one that was on top of his health. He had switched his whole diet to dairy. Didn't eat really any like full meats anymore. Cleaned his refrigerator out. And yeah, things changed. Went really, it went really fast in a lot of ways for him. Um, from all the years in wrestling, the multiple surgeries he's had, he had messed his. He had real bad neck problems from years of wrestling and taking bumps, and actually, I remember he got injured, and he got injured in I think WCW, and one of the okay, he got injured in one of his matches that he had that was during the Russo era, and he got his neck injured. I think with Billy Kidman, and he couldn't do a lot of matches. He came in and did a lot of just scenes. And he started having, trying to put over the younger talent. And they had a pay-per-view in Chicago. And he just pulled up in the truck. And they didn't even have a match. He just came in and beat up Billy Kidman all the way to the locker room. Like, that was the match. There was no match. Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun watching wrestling back in the day. But Wood, what he did in wrestling will never be topped. Uh, he set the standard for commercializing professional wrestling. Well, Flair was the world champion of monologues and everything, but they couldn't do it on a commercial scale like Hogan. Merchandising, everything. Like that was Hogan, toys, action figures, everything. Like this guy did like $1 billion in revenue for Vince McMahon. that made more than the matches combined. Now, yes. Well, when you're put in a high profile situation and you're looking at high valuations and you have accountants, you have all of these different, you know, yes, Hogan has made some racist comments in his life. He grew up around in Florida where they was pretty much racist in that area. But as far as the way he treated people, he was treating people fair. He never treated them differently. Only thing he said in private is he didn't want his daughter dating a black person. That was the remark that he made. That he apologized for. He was sorry about. I think he was sorry he got caught, but saying that. But, you know, in the end, it hurt him. Because the guy was trying to help his daughter. She was dating him, and he was a producer. He was trying to help her record career. But that's what the comment he made, that eventually it cost him his daughter, pushed her away, pushed everybody away. But, you know, he had a bad end. You know, he got booed because of his views. He spoke at the Trump rally. That doomed him. You know, even after getting accepted back into the WWE. And I wonder what they're going to do now. Because this just happened. So, you know, WWE's going to do something. How our era is falling apart. Man, it's just what it is. It's just, you know, it's just life, man. He had just recently had neck surgery in May. And he was suffering from complications from that neck surgery. People don't realize how serious the neck is to the entire body. If the neck is messed up, that affects your heart. That affects your arms, your circulation. So if you're not getting circulation going to your certain parts of your body, your arms, your knees, your elbow, one side of your body might be messed up because it's not flowing right through your neck. So you could have slept wrong. Anything. Now this arm is not getting the same blood flow as everything else, and that messes up your heart. All these elements can affect your heart just coming from your neck. So neck surgery is always very serious. And then how you're sitting down and recovering from it. And he had a rough go of recovery since May. People were saying Hogan was like, oh, he's on his deathbed. A lot of people haven't seen him since May. So he was at home recovering from that surgery still. Yeah. Uh, he's had countless surgeries on his neck. Uh, he used to get injections in there. He had a back surgeries, numerous back surgeries. I think they'll let him into the wrestlers' hall. When he made the press run, when he was doing the Hulk Hogan tour, and that's why I went out and saw him and Flair, because I knew these are the pioneers I grew up watching. But I also knew that this might be the end. This might be the last time I get to see them alive. And I was thinking about Flair, because Rick's health was bad. It's bad now. So, he just survived another incident that went through. And to hear that is just terrifying. There's plenty of people that have their own say in the situation, but no, never that. Yeah, Wood did a lot of good things. I don't want to just dump on the man, but what he did for professional wrestling growing up, we always rooted against Hulk Hogan. We wasn't a Hulk Hogan guy. But I was watching his match with just recently. I was watching. I was sitting here on this couch going through photos, like my Google photos, because it was going through my phone, and I ran across this photo with me, him, and Flair, and not knowing, minutes later, as I'm going on my walk, I'm getting all these alerts that he had just passed. That's crazy. Malcolm Jamal Warner, same thing. We were talking about Malcolm and Eddie, and that show, like, man, that show was great. Malcolm and Eddie. And then when I saw it, like, because he had died already, and we didn't even know about it. He died on the 20th, and we didn't know till like that Monday. They told us what happened over the weekend. But yeah, that was just sad. What do I think they're gonna do from here? As far as what? I think they'll be all right. I think his son speaks to him, because his son still lives there. Still, hopefully he's not getting in trouble again, because he was getting another DUI. hanging out there. But now his son's he's got to fend for self. Dad can't protect him no more. So, yeah, it was sad. His daughter hadn't talked to him. I don't know if it had something to do with, the other girl he was dating or married to. I don't know, but she didn't speak to the family anymore. Mm-hmm. No, I don't know what else they're gonna do after that. No, she had a kid. He got a grandson. Oh, okay. Make sure you got everything, and don't rush. Well, everybody who got major contract deals, that wouldn't have happened without Hulk Hogan. Now that's true. He commercialized wrestling. Put a knife of food up off the floor. The bastards come here after the shot. Okay. And the greatest heel turn probably in wrestling for a second career for somebody who was the pinnacle of wrestling. The Hulk Hogan thing was like transitioning into the movie. Like even though that movie was trash, I remember as kids we saw that movie, thought it was great. No Holds Bar with Zeus. It was watching that now is like insane. I was like, this is garbage. No Hold Barred is so bad. It don't make any sense whatsoever. Like watching Flash Gordon. Yeah. Remember that Flash Gordon? Oh, look, Ma, they got the TV shows on here, the classics. They got, see. I gotta go. Oh, yeah, that's right. You supposed to bingo. Yeah, they got Taxi. They got some treats for them. Yeah, they got Taxi and Family Time. 3 seasons. No, complications from that surgery. Um, that neck surgery. He had probably a bad heart. He has taken steroids in the past, throughout his wrestling career. But to turn to Hollywood Hogan from Hulk Hogan to be right back in a meteoric rise, the NWO, that was probably the greatest heel turn to have two eras where you were there on one side and on the other side. They tried to do that with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that was ridiculous. I mean, I could not stand when he went heel. Somebody as over as Steve Austin, you don't let him be heel at all. Because he's already really a bad guy. He's a bad guy that they like. So he's not a villain. And he's not a baby face. You just keep him in the middle. But he wanted to do it too, and he pushed for that. Remember how crazy that was? To see Stone Cold as the villain, where he pranked call the Undertaker. He was going against Undertaker. It was just him and Kane and Undertaker. It was just terrible, terrible timing. Uh, no, yeah, I respect him for what he did for the game of wrestling, for this sport, this entertainment, this thing, for what he did for professional wrestling. He will always have my respect for that. There's a lot of black wrestlers that got money because of Hulk Hogan. Black wrestlers he hung out with. He just didn't want black dudes dating his daughter. That's it. Now, it wasn't Hulk Hogan's fault. He the one told Kamala, "Hey man, better make sure you're getting your money, because I'm getting my money off this." Kamala wasn't getting paid. That was Vince McMahon's. Like, they were putting on all of these big shows with Hulk Hogan and Kamala, and Kamala was getting paid. I mean, wasn't getting paid like that. They was putting over. He was helping Hogan sell out all these shows when they had the feud with Kamala. I mean, he helped put over The Rock. He helped put over a lot of wrestlers that he didn't have to. Oh yeah, Butch the Natural Reed was disgusted. He was supposed to challenge Hulk Hogan. That's what a lot of people didn't realize. Butch the Natural Butch Reed, he the one went to that, like because he was Butch Reed over, and they made him dye his hair blonde and all kind of stuff to try to boost himself up. But he was so mad they brought in Zeus, who was an actor, Tony Lister, and he couldn't stand the fact Tony Lister was there. Debo. They brought him in, and he started getting all the money. He started getting that, and the push was supposed to be Bush Reed versus Hulk Hogan. And Vince changed quick once he saw Zeus. He was, that's the guy I need. We're gonna forget the movies. He's like, how much you getting paid a movie? He was making about 10,000 a movie. Man, Vince paid him way more than he was getting paid in the movie industry. He was Forget that. Sign here. You're getting this. He was like, "Are you serious?" Kept him in high road hotels, everything. Wrestlers wasn't getting that. And Zeus didn't have to put in no work. Had no wrestling experience. His movements was next to none. So they were like, "How are we gonna sell this guy? This guy can't wrestle." But it's like, look at everybody. They're in fear of him. This is beautiful. So the natural Butch Reed had to go. He was like, "This guy got heat." So he took the whole thing from the movie and just made the movie into real life. No holds barred, the match and the movie, all in one night. You had the they sold that. That's what I was like. That's why it opened the door for WWE to get into the film business, because that opened up all kind of doors for them to do that. They promoted the match and the movie. No holds barred. No holds barred was making some money and making movement, no matter how terrible the movie and over the top ridiculous it was. They put him with Macho Man because somebody had to do the dialogue. Someone was gonna have to do all the wrestling, so they kept him in tag team matches against Hogan and Beefcake to sell it. Oh man, Hogan did like the first ever suplex from the top of the steel cage into the ring on Saturday night's main event against the Big Boss Man. I remember that, and they couldn't believe it. That somebody the size of Big Boss Man was able to do that kind of move, and that was legendary. Yeah, so he's always been respected for wrestling. Like he wasn't one of the best wrestlers. He's a big man, so they taught him how to do big man moves, chops, back rakes, like big slams, some elbow drops, dropping the fist down. WrestleMania 3 was the biggest event at the time. Him versus Andre the Giant, because the whole world didn't know that him and Andre the Giant had wrestled like 3, 4 times in the past. He slammed Andre before. He fought him in Japan. He fought him in AWA. Like there was some crazy times. Yeah, him and Paul Orndorff. That was supposed to be WrestleMania 2. And then they went with King Kong Bundy. They brought Bundy up from the for the unit, and they was like, "Oh, this King Kong Bundy guy, that's Vince McMahon once again, making a switch." They had been promoting Paul Orndorff and Hogan for the entire year, and had them, fall out. They had the steel cage match. Who really was the heavyweight champion? And you rarely saw any belts, if you did at all, belts change place on Saturday night's main event. I'm like, I can't recall a belt taking place, changing hands. on Saturday Night Main Event. They always waited for the pay-per-view to do that. Hogan was supposed to fight Jake the Snake Roberts. And they did like a house show with, like, after a Piper's Pit, he DDT'd Hogan and whatever, and it was supposed to be this thing where they was gonna do the verses, and then everybody was chanting DDT, DDT, and it got killed right there. Vince is like, no, we ain't doing that match. He was like, this was supposed to help put Hogan over, and he's like, we can't. No, this will destroy Hogan if he was to beat you in the match. Look at this. Look at what they doing. They all yelling DDT. No way. Everybody loved Jake, even though he was the bad guy. He was like, no, we ain't doing this. So that was that. Man, we love Wood, man. If you gonna sit here and say you didn't watch Hollywood Hogan and you ain't like NWO, you didn't like any of that stuff, then you're lying to yourself. Wood was all good. What you gonna do, brother? Look at Bear. He is so little.
Oh, you just looking at the pictures?
Yeah.
They should have brought him over here. Apparently.
They said he was running some errands with him. Yeah, that's the newer one. Go Bear.
Yeah. Yeah, Afro now.
Mm-hmm. Got the curly fro.
Who you talk to him?
Like, what you gonna do, brother? Hogan. So that's why I went and saw him last year, because I knew that I was like, man, we might not get this opportunity again. He could be gone. Oh, that was a nice one up there. Yeah, we saw Wood back in 2000. It was 2024. I tried to get my Uncle Renzo to go with him because he the one got me into wrestling since I was a kid. Renzo was the wrestling fanatic in the family. So I was like, hey, he didn't hit me back. I was texting him and everything, and I ain't hear from him. So yeah, he missed out on that one. But yeah, it was he had cardiac arrest due to the complications from his neck surgery. He was recovering, and I told you, man, neck is everything. That mess up. If it's not flowing right, your circulation could cause heart problems, everything. So he just had another neck surgery in May. He had one before in the past, but I guess his neck was acting up again. And plus, all that flying, he was doing the world tour, all that going up, all that air pressure and stuff on his neck. That's why nobody's seen him since May. He was recovering, and it was people saying he was on his deathbed and all this stuff. Oh yeah, Mom said put the food up, because she gonna bring Bash, put Nyla's food up, because Bash is coming here after he get the shots. So I'm gonna put the food up here.
Nyla, she gave her right into Nyla. She keeps her food there so she can eat it later.
WWE's don't have to do a tribute. I mean, this is Hulk Hogan, man. What you talking about? Y'all acting like this is just some wrestler, dude. This is Hulk Hogan. That's the immortal Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania. Hollywood Hogan. NWO Hogan. There's no way. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Recovery after surgery is not easy. So, definitely something to think about. But all right, I'm gonna let y'all go. Just wanted to give y'all the update. I did hear about Hogan. Thank y'all for informing me. Appreciate y'all. Go on to Patreon. We're gonna have some tribute later to our wrestling brethren, Hogan. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? NWO for life.